Carving demonstration. Permanent mandibular left first molar. For carving the 3 times the natural size, a 9-inch wax block is used. Measure 9 cm from the end of the block using a metal scale and mark on the wax block with a carver. Then draw lines parallel to the edge of the block on all the 4 surfaces exactly at the same measurement. This 9 cm wax block is used for carving this tooth. From one end of the wax block, measure 23 mm using the metal scale and mark it using the wax carver. And draw lines parallel to the edge of the block on all the 4 surfaces exactly at the same measurement. This line corresponds to the cervical line of the tooth. The 23 mm part of the wax block is used for carving the crown and the remaining part is used for carving the root. After demarcating the crown and the root, the individual surfaces are labeled on the root part of the wax block. This is the buccal view, mesial view, lingual view and the distal view. For carving the occlusal surface, draw the trapezoid occlusal outline on the occlusal part of the wax block. When drawing the occlusal outline, it should be in such a way that the buccal part should be broad mesiodistally and the lingual part should be 4 mm shorter than the buccal part. This shows the marked occlusal outline. Next, the occlusal outline or the shape is carved by removing the wax from the sides exactly up to the marked level of the outline. This shape should extend from the occlusal surface up to the cervical area. This shows the carved trapezoid occlusal outline. To carve the cusp and the grooves, the rough occlusal outline should be drawn on the occlusal surface. This shows the marked cuspal outlines along with the groove outlines. First, carve the mesiobuccal cusp by carving the mesiobuccal and the distobuccal cuspal slopes. This shows the carved mesiobuccal cusp. Similarly, carve the distobuccal cusp. When carving the buccal cusp, the mesiobuccal cusp should be large, followed by the distobuccal cusp and finally the distal cusp, which should be carved more distally. This shows the carved mesiobuccal and the distobuccal cusp. Next, carve the mesiolingual and the distolingual cusp in a similar way. Similarly, carve the distal cusp. The triangular fossa is carved by removing the excess wax present in the triangular fossa area. It should be removed in such a way so that the marginal ridges are made prominent. This shows the carved occlusal aspect with the buccal cusp, lingual cusp, triangular fossae, developmental grooves and the marginal ridges. Now, the occlusal convergence is given by rounding the occlusal surfaces on all the sides. Now, define or deepen the mesiobuccal, distobuccal and the lingual grooves on the occlusal aspect. The buccal grooves should extend onto the occlusal third of the buccal aspect, thereby dividing the mesiobuccal, distobuccal and the distal cusp. The lingual groove should also extend onto the lingual surface up to the occlusal third level, thereby dividing the mesiolingual and the distolingual cusp. This shows the carved occlusal aspect with the buccal cusp, lingual cusp, triangular fossae, developmental grooves and the marginal ridges. Now, draw the mesial and the distal root outlines on the buccal, mesial, lingual and distal aspect of the root part. This shows the root outlines on the buccal aspect, mesial aspect, lingual aspect and the distal aspect. Now, the buccal surface of the root is carved by slowly removing the wax from the cervical line up to the apical end. Then, the lingual surface of the root is carved in a similar way. This is the mesial and the distal aspects showing the carved buccal and the lingual outlines of the root. Then, the bifurcation is carved by removing the wax from the furcation area near the apical third from the buccal and the lingual aspect. This shows the bifurcation near the apical third of the root. Next, by following the mesial and the distal root outlines, the roots are carved. Finally, define the furcation area of the roots and remove any excess wax from the roots. This shows the carved, mesial and the distal roots. Next, the cervical line is drawn on the buccal, distal, lingual and the mesial aspects. This is how the cervical line should be drawn on the different aspects of the carved tooth. Then, the cervical construction is carved by slowly removing the wax from the crown towards the marked cervical line. This is done on all the surfaces of the carved tooth. This is the buccal, mesial, lingual and the distal aspects showing the partly carved cervical construction. Next, the cervical construction is carved by slowly removing the wax from the root towards the marked cervical line. This is also done on all the surfaces of the carved tooth. This is the completed buccal aspect, mesial aspect, lingual aspect and the distal aspect. Remove any excess wax from all the sides and define the cervical constriction. Preliminary polishing is done using the rough polishing cloth by rubbing gently on all the surfaces of the carved tooth. Then, the yellow polishing cloth is used for polishing by rubbing gently on all the surfaces of the carved tooth. While using the polishing cloth, forceful rubbing should be avoided to prevent any changes in the contours of the carved tooth. Final polishing is done using either a cotton or a tissue paper dipped in soap water. After polishing in soap water, the carved tooth is dried using a tissue paper. This is the final buccal aspect, mesial aspect, lingual aspect, distal aspect and the occlusal aspect of the permanent mandibular first molar. This shows the different stages of tooth carving up to the completed tooth.